In the last couple of videos, we talked about how Elixir doesn't have loops, and I showed you how you can use recursion in place of loops, but often you won't even need to use recursion. You can typically use one of Elixir's standard libraries instead. For example, in the last video, we created a sum function that used recursion to total all the numbers in a list, but in reality, we could have used the sum function from the enum module. For example, in IEX, I'll create a list with the numbers 1 through 5. Then I'll key in enum dot, then I'll press tab to see the list of functions in the enum module. And right here, you see a sum function, which we'll use. Then I'll pass in the list we just created, and as you can see, we got the number we were looking for without having to write any functions. Let's take a closer look at the sum function. To do this, I'll key enum.sum, and I'll pipe this function to the hhelper function, which will show us the help docs for this function. Well, not a lot to see here. It looks like the sum function takes an enumerable, and it returns the sum of all the elements. But what does this term enumerable mean in Elixir? Let's check the docs for the enum module and see if it sheds any light on what an enumerable is. So I'll key h, followed by the module name enum. Okay, so any data type that implements the enumerable protocol, well, that's more information, but it doesn't really answer the question. But if you read a little more, you can see that lists, maps, and ranges are enumerables, but these aren't the only types of enumerables. Okay, well, for the moment, let's just accept the fact that lists, maps, and ranges are known enumerables, and we'll use these data types to get some experience with some of the more commonly used functions in the enum module. Now, a little bit later, after you're more comfortable with the enum module, we'll circle back to the question, what exactly is an enumerable? And more specifically, what does it mean to implement the enumerable protocol?